Warm welcome to everyone here as we gather around and settle in for session 14 of the Shrouded Shore. I'm Amelie, Dragon Mom and Dungeon Master for today's session, and with me are Cross as...
Justicia!
Draken as...
Maker.
Vertizen as...
Rom.
And Yulia as...
Bayleaf.
Who is back with us once again in the land of the living. Last time, we explored the city some, but would anyone like to give me a slightly more detailed recap of last episode?
Well, the time is finally at hand.
The time is at hand?
I didn't make it.
Go for it.
After 2 sessions of that. Anyway, previously on the Shrouded Shore, our heroes arrived at the port town and pirates port of Sifalagan. Is that how you say that?
Sithalagan, yes.
Okay, Sifalagan, wherein they were met with an adoring crowd and split ways in order to enjoy the sights of the city. Crom went south into the Artisan's Alley, where he spent his day reforging his new living sword into a cringy teenager. The Stish did what she does best, traumatized children. And Maker just relaxed in an outpost of his home city of more advanced than everybody, along with a bunch of other automatons.
I feel like
Now-
this recap is biased.
Only slightly. Only it may be biased, but it's not wrong.
That
And
is
now,
like an extremely you statement, Draken. It may be biased, but it's not wrong. Oh, God.
and now we proceed to Bailiff's adventure.
Yes. And with that, for most of the group, dusk is falling. Justicia, with her traditional Partuvian dress and cerulean hair done up in elaborate braids, trailing up mumbling Crispin, sorting through almost 24 photo slates snapped over the course of her publicity-filled day. Crom wielding a near enough to complete fang. The weapon's inlays will need another day of work, and the edge has yet to be properly honed. You wouldn't want to use it in a fight. But it is a functional vessel at the least, and Fang themselves are basically mentally humming with excitement at how cool they are. Maker's frame is newly polished. The construct will take some additional work. It's kind of held together with Lekmar and duct tape at this point. And Bayleaf...
I'm drowning.
Bayleaf has some catching up to do, temporally speaking. Because, as her compatriots were scattered to 3 of the winds, the servitor was caught up in a 4th. She is, after all, a formal, as much as anyone is, lieutenant of the Partu Liberation Brigade, and this is the eve of a major diplomatic summit. I'm getting like bleed through.
Make a noise.
Like audio bleed through, it sounds like.
Draken!
Probably from Draken.
What?
I think that as I'm speaking, I'm getting like a vocal bleed through on your mic.
Moment, I'm lowering your volume a bit.
Thank
And I'm going to increase my... decrease my sensitivity higher.
you. Okay. So. that did not.
Did you
solve
do it in the other
problem.
direction?
I
Testing.
appreciate that I can now hear myself even more clearly through your mic.
I can hear myself now occasionally as well.
Weird, I'm not lighting up.
Testing. Audio. I love audio.
Yeah. Am I
Okay,
still
this
bleeding?
This
Not
seems like
not
it's
right now.
It seems like it's basically working, but we'll keep an eye on it. Okay.
Ear on it.
Ear on it, yes. We'll keep an ear on it. Bayleaf, you have 4 possible destinations and enough time in your day to pick 2 of these. You will have the opportunity to interact with all these people in a more formal setting later at the meeting itself, but this could be an opportunity to make some connections ahead of time. First off, you do, of course, have the opportunity to report to Niall and Maeve directly and bring them up to date or ask for news in private. There's like a little place that's being used as the headquarters of the PLB here. You can visit the nursery garden to meet with, there's a delegation of actual Niscali priests here. You have heard a bit about them. They are apparently from Uami and have been, like, they're actively practicing remnants. They are like a kind of underground sect that has been keeping the faith alive in a major city, even without the, like, clerical powers of Nessus. You could follow an invite that you got to the Seafort and see if you can take the measure of Captain Enya, leader of the Corsairs that helped to liberate this city, and possibly see what exactly might be able to influence her. She is, by your understanding, basically the de facto host of this
What was that name again?
Captain Enya.
Enya. Was this a formal invite to the group, or was this an individual thing?
These are all invitations to Bayleaf.
Okay.
And lastly, there is a rather unusual invitation from an attaché with the Northwestern Forces, requesting a meeting with her Bayleaf driver specifically in a personal capacity and not her capacity as a lieutenant, should she be willing to take some time out of her day.
Right, so the last 2 are direct invitations. Neo is a thing that, should be doing at some point. And the Nescali priest, is that something I just know about, or was that a direct invitation as well?
That is something that you know about, but they have an open door policy for other rebel leaders, and so there've been a lot of people going in and out of there throughout the day.
Oh man, that's tough. Okay, I think despite her incredibly wanting to go see the priests, I think she would probably respond to one of the direct invitations, and we don't actually have a massive amount to update Neil of, so I think they can wait for the conferencing. She's actually going to respond to the 2 invitations. Okay. She'll hit up the attaché for the Northwestern Forces first, I think.
All right. So, Bayleaf is pulled. Well, not pulled. She has the opportunity to sort of navigate through the crowd. She's quite popular, but she is. The invitation is written in like a very neat, tidy hand on a little slip of paper. It's kind of an unusually formal invite, but it asks her to come to a cafe, a small, like, sort of outdoor eating area at the Grand Markets, where this is sort of like a hub for, like, trade and mercantilism in the city. It is outdoors, lots of covered awnings and canopies that the light rain is drumming against. You arrive and look around for the person you're supposed to meet, because you don't really know
who they are.
And you are hailed with, like, a small wave by and definitely not someone who lines up with any of the rebels that you've seen before. He's already seated at a table, and he appears to be an elderly, just, like, kind of very well put together imperial man in sort of a smart, nice suit, neatly trimmed mustache, just kind of snow white hair, carefully combed. This is clearly someone who puts effort into their appearance as a matter of course. They look like someone that you would see running errands for a noble. Not a noble themselves, but a servant. Of some sort.
Yeah, a high up,
A high up,
butler
yeah.
type.
Yeah, very much like a butler
A
type.
head servant kind of role.
Yeah.
Do they read Imperial by ethnicity or dress, or both?
Both. Very much
Both.
both. Like, this is clearly a, like, Heartland Imperial. Like,
What has that kind of presence been here on the island as far as we've seen?
the actual, like, Heartland Imperials mostly are associated with, like, nobles or high-end merchants, aristocrats, like, powerful families that have mostly settled down in the temple cities themselves, which are the, like, urban centers. It's where the empire has the most of its
more
power.
specifically, where we are right now. Sefer Lagan.
There are not many Imperials left in Sitholagan.
Okay, so he stands out.
He stands out. He does very much noticeably stand out. He has like a small, like bag sitting by the table, but he's notable for his presence.
Okay, Bailey will hesitate briefly, but she'll go over and sit at the table.
There's a pretty decent like Tor population on this island, and so
They're
there
nice
are
floor
like,
mats.
there are nice floor mats, like kind of soft plush. It's comfy. This older man, he gives like a small nod to you, and he's like, you would be the young lady driver, I assume? Yes?
That's me.
have
And who do I have the
heard-
pleasure of addressing?
I am... Drusus Segretti. I am a... I suppose I shall introduce you the way I have been introducing myself to others. I am an aide to a particular family of note in the... I am an aide to a particular family of note settled in the city of Turling, Miron, and I am present at the behest of my patron, I suppose. I was... He seems to be kind of picking over his words a little cautiously, like he's not quite used to the environment he's in.
She's going to sort of rest her elbow on the table and just put her hand, chin on her and go, "You're being very cautious.
Yes, please understand.
If you're trying to
this
avoid
is-
giving offence or so on, don't worry about it. If you're trying to avoid being overheard, cafe's a bad place."
No worries. I am simply, this is all rather new to me. I am here, as I said, at my patron's behest, and this is something of a new endeavor. I am happy to support something that she seems quite passionate about, but, rebellion. It's a tad extreme for a hobby, isn't it?
Less a hobby, more a career.
I suppose you could say that. Regardless, I have heard many positive things about you, and I must say, while I am here in the capacity of serving this rebellion, I have an interest in you specifically. If you will not take offense, I am here somewhat to take your measure, I suppose, Miss Driver. Is that correct, Miss Driver?
Just call me Bailey.
Bailey,
But,
then.
Don't mind me saying, I'm not so sure about trying to meet the measure of Imperials supporting the rebellion. Would you care to explain?
Yes. First off, I would like to offer a couple small tokens of good faith. First of all, news. I am operating with the Goldwood militias. They've been working in the northwest of the continent, and I would like you to know your parents and your brother, they are safe in the city of Lauren. They were extracted some time ago once my patron received news of where, well, what had happened to you in particular. It was fairly clear that retaliation against the families of criminals is not at all uncommon, and an effort was made to connect your family with local resistance groups. It was
just to drag him out despite my brother being an Imperial bootlicker.
Oh,
Doesn't
yes.
have to offer any protection.
Apologies for this, but your parents are currently safe and in Lauren. Your brother is also in Lauren, but is being held in jail with a number of Imperial prisoners due to concerns that he may attempt to defect in exchange for leniency for your family. I hope that does not come off as overly harsh. It is seemed a reasonable concern.
Perhaps.
But the second peace offering I would like to make is this. He reaches down into the bag and produces a small, not small, like a medium-sized wine bottle, and just kind of sets it on the table and pushes it over. It is of Imperial make, true, from my, the Heartland estates of my patron's family. It is quite different from the juices and meads favored here, but it is bold and sweet. Fine. I'm sorry.
I enjoy Imperial wine. I've drunk plenty of it, just never paid for it. She smiles.
Theft, yes, a joke. It's sincere, I assume, but also a joke. Regardless, a fine introduction for one with a... Yes, I am glad to hear that you do not blame the wine overmuch. It does not choose where it is bottled. Regardless, I suppose I might ask a number of small questions. The first is this. I have been curious with how much I have been hearing of you of late. Why are you doing this? I have seen your family. You come from a comfortable home with every opportunity to simply, well, prosper as much as any can. It seems strange for one with such advantages by birth to choose a path of such hardship and, well...
That's a real Imperial way of thinking about it. Uncomfortable, so why bother, right? But, forgive me. A few weeks ago, I wouldn't have even deigned to sit at this table with you. But, in close companionship recently, trying to be a bit more open-minded. While I'm doing this, if I'm honest, it started as just a impulsive, screw you to the Imperials. I didn't really care about my comfort. I cared about the audacity, the indignity of our people being under Imperial rule. And I just wanted to spite them. And not just Imperials, but my family as well. Living in comfort like that. It's disgusting. Now, I'm doing it because I believe we actually have a chance. I know we have a chance. And I might be able to go back, well, not anymore, I suppose. While I might be able to go to a comfortable life. Not everyone has that, and it's not fair. That's it. Fairness, I suppose, in the end.
Interesting. And for fairness, a war.
Yeah.
I see. I will say, he sort of narrows his eyes and gives you a very scrutinizing look. I consider myself to have some talent in appraising untruths, but I sense none of that in you.
Got no reason to lie.
No reason to lie, indeed. I will admit I've been suspicious, but it would appear that the Lady Lucretta had the measure of you from the very start. Well, regardless, I am here. He looks lost in thought for a moment, just thinking, pondering. Might I ask, if, when this is done, what do you see as the future of Partu without Imperial rule? I confess it is not something I have ever really thought of.
I also confess I'm probably not the best person to decide that. Freedom fighters are rarely those that should end up leading what they brought freedom to. But I'm hoping we'll set up our own proper government in absence of yours. Go back to where we did things before, with a little more focus on keeping ourselves safe from outsiders. And I'm hoping we'll be happy under our goddess again. Beyond that, that's for brighter people than me.
I see. Well, there are very, very many people in the Empire who have exceptionally sharp minds, but very few who would put it all on the line for something as simple as fairness. Color me interested. And thank you for your humoring an old man. So long as our paths are aligned, you may consider me a aid to your own cause, as well as the group I am presently attached to. Should you need anything, be it advice on the workings of imperial noble families or how to navigate such an environment, come to me. I will offer what assistance I can. I am a servant, but I have been around this world since, well, I imagine since long before you were born. Long before Partu was even part of the Empire. You know, on the mainland, this place is rarely even discussed. It's a little bit of nowhere, out at the edge of the world. Most people don't even think of it. I'd be shocked if the average citizen on the street even knew there was a war going on here. But
How unfair is it that you get to remember a free Partu and I don't?
Well, you will see far more of it than I will, I expect, if
You
this
can be sure
all
of it.
goes well. But yes, thank you for dropping by, and do enjoy the wine.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
I'm assuming by your mentioning of this Lady Lucretta and so on that whoever you serve, be it her or someone else, they are aligned with the idea of a free Partu, I'm hoping.
Lady Lucretta, her family is... Well, I suppose you have been honest. I will be so as well. The Lady Lucretta is a near your own age, and suffice to say that from all that I have seen of the Partuvian homes, they are less... The imperial family is, shall we say, less nurturing than what you might be used to here.
Yeah.
And
she's gotten to see what nurturing is, I'm assuming?
I have done what I can for the child. I have fulfilled what roles of caretaker I am able to, but until very recently, there was little future in a life like this for her. your actions have shown her that perhaps there is a way forward for things. A way forward for her, a future for her. If she is willing to fight for that future, and she is, I have seen it kindled within her. A passion, a desire to do something, to strive for something.
So a little bit of liking of the Partuvian way and mixed with a little bit of imperial self-interest.
A bit, yes. But it is not such a bad combination, I should hope. She is very, very interested in meeting you again when the chance arises.
Again, wait a second.
But
Would you mind describing Lady Greta?
I believe, again, please take no offense, that she would be most interested in introducing herself. I was instructed not to meddle overmuch in your affairs personally, but I am looking out for her interests more than any others. And I wished to make sure that she was not making a terrible mistake. I don't believe she is. Good day, Lieutenant Driver.
Good day to you.
Nods.
Do I
and
call you
gives-
Justice, or do you have a title?
Terribly informal calling me Drusus, but I suppose it's fine.
I mean, no offence. So if you got something you'd rather.
Mr. Segretti will work perfectly well, thank you.
Mr. Segretti, been a pleasure. Thank you for the wine. I'm sure the Saint will enjoy it as well.
Of course. Now, I do have work today, so thank you for the visit. He gives a small nod and stands from the table, gathers his things, and departs. He glances at you one more time as he goes.
He nods in return, and she'll pick up the wine and leave.
With that, we can pretend that we cut to a mini scene from one of the other people. Just slot that right in, right here.
Insert in editing, please.
Yeah, we'll get it in post. Wait, there's Discord blips in the stream audio? I should not be getting any Discord blips.
I haven't been hearing anything.
My Discord blips.
I haven't heard any.
Strange. My Discord is in streamer mode. It should not be blipping at all.
I'm going to send you a message as a test. I'm turning on the stream audio.
Yep, nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, I think we're fine. Yeah, I I hope that they're not showing up, but yeah, it seems to be fine. Thank you for pointing that out, though. I went and double checked. Discord is not blipping; it is in streamer mode. But as we return to Bayleaf, where were you going next? You were going to.
I was going to go see this Captain Enya.
All right. You make your way across town.
Also mumbling should have gone to see the Nescali priest instead.
Huh?
She's also mumbling that she should have gone to see the Nescali priest instead. Didn't want to go talk to an Imperial, even if it's slightly useful. Grumbling to herself.
Hey, the Scully Priestess would not have given you a bottle of very expensive wine.
That's true. I don't know if she understands the expensive wine.
Yeah, it's,
In fact, she's probably drunk quite a bit of expensive wine. Tastes the same as other wine, really.
Oh no. She has no taste.
She has not.
The butler didn't ask if you had any taste. Oh no. But you approach the Tide Fort, which used to be this city's imperial garrison. Now, it has some otherwise unmarked impromptu sea green banners kind of unfurled around it. But I'm sorry, I was briefly distracted by the extremely diabolical discussion in chat of someone using Discord blips and a soundboard to gaslight people.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's terrifying. I haven't even thought of that. Sorry. Brief
That's a great
flash
idea.
of horror. Please don't tell anybody about this terrifying tool that you have discovered. But
Actually, not on a public stream on
Oh, no.
Twitch.
Oh,
It
no.
gets recorded.
oh,
The good
no.
old days of playing a message sound in Second Life.
God. But anyway, the Tide Fort. Sturdy keep. It's got some obvious damage in it from some cannons. You can see it doesn't really have doors. It looks like they were blown off by some shots from the harbor. But it's manned, quote unquote, by a rather motley selection of pirates and roguish looking individuals who seem to not really get the idea of standing sentry so much as they're just kind of using the fort as a place to chat and drink and generally have a good time of things. The pirates appear to be doing well for themselves and generally having a good time. However, you are, upon seeing your little pin and introducing yourself, you're guided up to one of the commander's quarters in the fort. It's a small room, thick rugs, fire in the fireplace, fairly warm. And you see just this extremely weathered-looking old human woman in kind of a colorful outfit, pacing around. There's a table that's kind of covered with books, many of them open or with marks in specific spots. There's a few navigational charts ready, and she seems to be sorting through a whole lot of different sources of information. She glances up at you as you enter and
Captain Enya?
Aye, that's me. Who are you? What do you need?
I'm Lieutenant Driver of the Partu Liberation Brigade.
Ah, one of those pups. All right. Come in. Have a seat if you need it. I won't be. Too much work to do.
Hey, look it. Assume you want to keep this brief then?
Aye, if possible. You lot have made a lot of work for us. Opportunity, yes, but work. Ha! She, looks
Go
over
hand in
the
hand,
table.
really, don't they?
You could say that. Of course, the finest opportunities are the ones that are easy to seize, but... You know, there's a lot of argument going around that... She, looks at you. Tell me, who are you again? I don't,
I'm Bailey's driver. Part of the party responsible for blowing up a mountain.
Arcade
Traveling
group.
with a living saint. Yeah, that group.
Of course. I remember you now. You know, there's quite a few people who are blaming you for the mess that we're in now. Not you
Oh, good.
specifically, your group.
They'd be correct.
There's a lot of people saying that give it a few more years, 5, maybe 10, give the priests more opportunities to find Nessus, give our groups more opportunities to reach out and contact one another, that this rebellion could have gone much, much more smoothly. People are saying this, understand.
Roughness is worth accelerating it by many years, I reckon. Besides, Already on track to finding Nessus.
Why is it always the people with the most years left that are so reluctant to spend them?
Burn young and burn bright, get it done right.
You remind me of a lot of dead members of my crew.
They sound like good people.
Yes, they were. But I'll take this opportunity. I won't lie, I'm among the people saying such things. But
I assumed.
I am willing to hear you out. You've forced everyone involved in this rebellion to move at your pace. A fast pace. Breakneck speed. Do you actually believe that we have some method to make good on that? Because I'm certainly not seeing it.
So you see, I'm a girl of faith, you know. I believe in my goddess. I believe in many things. This isn't a matter of faith. I know that people pick up their heels and move with this pace. We will win.
I see. Faith. Faith and certainty and opportunity and speed. All important in my line of work.
But caution. I understand it. I really do. But caution, even if it doesn't put you on the losing side, I'm sure that you wouldn't side with the Imperials over us. You might just take a step back and let things play out, right?
This island is a victory. A hard-won victory. It's one that I'm not keen on risking.
See, not risking, though, is a problem. Because not risking robs other people without even trying. And not risking will be remembered.
I can hear it. Make a diplomacy check.
Okie dokie. Diplomacy is... Thank God I have some points in this. Oh, I will guidance myself as well.
You can guidance yourself. Very nice.
Oh, actually, did I take that? No, wait. No, that's right, I didn't. Sorry, I'm remembering past by Leaf.
Oh dear.
Leaf used to have guidance. That was fun times. Remember that, guys?
Oh my.
You do have the
I miss having guidance.
mega feat thing, mythic nonsense, right?
Yes, you can toss on an extra d6 if you like.
Yes. Let's try it. Oh, sorry. 1d6.
Is it a whole d6?
Yeah, it's just a d6.
Oh,
22.
the legendary stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a point. I won't say you've won me over. I am not one to be won over by a charming argument in a back room, but I've got my eye on you.
What about bribery? She smiles and just holds up the wine bottle. More importantly, an indicator that we're not alone. That there are Imperials backing us as well. I'm just going to put the wine bottle on the table.
We are not alone indeed. This is... Whew, are you aware of what you've got here, child?
Yeah, a good way to get drunk for a night.
That, or... She, seems like she thinks of saying how much it's worth, and she doesn't. She just takes the bottle.
Yeah, she's just going to smile, like, yeah, I know, go on.
Well, I won't be bribed, but I will thank you for the wine, little girl.
Of course.
Speak up. Put your ideas onto the table when we're having our meeting around the moonlight. I think there will be those who are willing to listen. You'll have to win over more than just me, but it's a start.
As long as those that are willing to listen are willing to act if it comes to it. But I'll certainly try my best.
I'll see about making sure that you have a floor at some point. But, for now, was there anything else? Oh yes, one moment. She turns and, like, shuffles a few papers around. Tell me, your little group, do they have a ship?
No, that's actually one of the reasons we're here.
I see. I see. Do you have a... Would you rather serve with a larger vessel or have a small one dedicated to you individually? I understand you're quite the asset for the rebellion.
Smaller vessel. Smaller vessel, I think. Something a bit faster than most large ships, although I'm not sure about sailing. Don't big boats move faster? I'm not sure. Sailing's not my fault, you see.
Depends on precise. There's many different forms. Large vessels have speed when the wind is with them. They're a little more difficult to move by oar, however. I will take that into account and see if we can muster up something for your little group.
That'll be much appreciated.
Of course. Whatever path we take, I expect somehow that you people will be at the center of whatever plan we make.
After all, even being cautious doesn't mean you can't nudge things along, right?
If we couldn't nudge things along, we wouldn't be here right now. All right. If that's that, then...
Yep. This is a pleasure meeting you, Captain Enya.
A pleasure. Again, she doesn't really dismiss you so much as she just stops paying attention to you.
Bailiff will just leave.
But Bailiff likely has other things, some other small errands to run during the day, and we'll handle those whenever we manage, like spending time in town, buying things, whatever. But the important thing is everyone is gathered. One moment. An hour after sunset, that is when the group was told to report to the Moonlight Springs north of town. You pass through one of the northern gates, likely meeting up somewhere along the way, either at the gates themselves or on the trail there. Moving along a wide, well-traveled path through dense woods, as you can hear the river running in the not-so-distance. Fresh water and little firebugs float through the air. You can smell the lake, and there's a very, it smells like summer out here. As you move away from, like, the denser parts of Sithalagon and into the slightly wilder, but honestly still fairly tame forests. This is a relatively small island, and there aren't really any large or dangerous creatures out here. It's safe. This whole island is quite safe by most measures.
Yeah, I think after Partu's center, most of us will think of any forest as tame.
Yeah, this is very much... Not only is it an island, it is, like, physically far from the heart of Partu, and it was touched by the influence of Nessus, but never fully soaked in it in the way that the mainland was. It mostly manifests here as just overly abundant plant life. But, one moment.
It's this year.
It is I.
You know wine, right? You're an imperial, noble lady.
Yeah, I don't really touch this stuff.
My brothers were. My one brother was fond of it. My sister drank it like water.
I think I might have given away an immensely expensive bottle.
What was the brand?
She'll list off the label.
Destisha, make a society check.
Society. Where's my button? Click. Oop, missed. There we go.
Yeah, that's expensive wine. You don't really know how expensive, but it's like it's expensive enough that in a gathering of like aristocrats, like pulling out a bottle of it is, you know, mildly impressive in the way that everyone was like, "Oh, a fine year."
He gauges by how much of it was in her sister's wine collection. The less there was, the rarer it was.
Yeah, that was pretty expensive.
Good, good.
I don't know how expensive, but it's one of the top shelf, as they say.
Enough to charm a pirate, hopefully.
You gave it to a pirate?
Pirate, privateer, whatever you want to call them.
Huh. I guess that works.
One lucky pirate.
You approach the actual site of the meeting itself. It's a small cluster of buildings, mainly intended as like a retreat or place for meditation or prayer or simple letting the weight of the world wash away a little bit. There's clean freshwater pools, baths, and like heating elements, lanterns. Most of it's outdoor, but the rain has let up in the evening, and you've got one of those rare, clear Partu skies where you can see the moon beaming down, a little bit past full, a waning gibbous reflecting across the river as you approach. Thin fog swirls in the air, just providing a texture and a sense of faint motion around you as you can see a small number of guards, but this isn't some castle or keep or temple, and the general assumption seems to be that this place is secure. Your approach is noted by a guardsman at the far end of a wooden bridge. Thankfully not a rope bridge, this is a proper wooden one. A little bit narrow, Crom has to kind of like sidle across. But
I've crossed log cross rivers. I can do this.
He just needs to lift his arms. His hips are so
Maybe we let Crom cross on his own first.
But you're met by a guardsman on the opposite side who gives you a nod and the Argade group. I see. You're expected. Along this way, please. He gestures further down the path.
Evening to you. Well, morning? What is it?
Evening still, just yet, but it's, well, good night. Eh?
Yeah.
Under the moon.
I hope it is.
He folds his arms and glances down the path. No one else is coming up behind you, and you get the impression with the four of you meeting up beforehand, you are one of the later groups to arrive. You can see a few other low-ranking attaches quietly chatting over here. People who aren't in the meeting proper, but tagged along with their respective groups. You can see what looks like a mage in pirate's garb, along with a spiderfolk priestess, you think? Someone with robes and the sash that's very common to Niscali clergy. You can see in like a small
sorry.
room to like one of the small like side buildings. You can catch Neal and Maeve having a private conversation, and it looks like, informally at least, there's already some amount of meeting occurring further down the river. You can see there's a sort of like raised wooden platform with a fire lit in it, which has a few members of different delegations gathered around. You can see Bayleaf will pick out the Imperial.
I almost spelled his name right.
Segreti. The Imperial she met before, who seems to be in low conversation with a dryad. Very unusual to see a dryad this far from where they are born, but it happens. They range afield.
Justicia starts sauntering down the path.
Clink, clink, clink.
Now that she's far enough away from the children and met up with everyone else, her spirits have risen again, and the thoughts of those terrified children starts to fade away.
Commander?
Lieutenant Driver and Lady Volantilus.
It
And the
is
rest of our
I.
friends. Yes, it's you. Like, as you're doing this, you do see, like, probably here to capture photographs of what could be a historic event. Crispin has jogged past you on the trail and is now engaged in snapping small photographs of the different groups as they arrive.
Oh no, he's invented paparazzi.
Oh no. Look, he's trying to be a historian and he's trying to get the news out to people. It's not a paparazzi. It's not a paparazzi until he starts doing it for money.
Oh, wow. I almost made a really offensive British joke then. Jesus. No. I'm sorry,
Okay.
Lady Diana. Okay.
No, it's okay. We all understand the joke.
It's not true paparazzi until you cause a car crash and death. No. Sorry for not reporting in earlier, Commander. Didn't want to waste opportunities to make some connections.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We've got enough on our hands. Neal looks like he has been getting run down a bit by needing to manage a very fast-moving rebellion, which is clearly not this guy's like natural inclination. He is not someone who is who's usually like in the field for like diplomacy or logistics, and it's like, oh, he's being asked to do these things.
I was expecting to free this continent yesterday.
However, he looks significantly less tired than his partner. Of last time you encountered Maeve, she was like early in her, like midway through her like second trimester of pregnancy. That was a couple months ago. She is looking very much like she would like to sit down. It doesn't mean she looks any less like she's able to like stab you in the throat. It just looks like she's kind of like got sore ankles. And
Bayleaf is
able to
struggling not to look.
She just like meets Bayleaf's gaze and just gives a shrug, like, an unspoken whatever. I don't care.
Well, if you insist, Bayleaf just opens her eyes.
I-beams.
What? I-beams. Okay. Bayleaf has I-beams now. Bayleaf does not have I-beams. She just has a line of sight.
Oh, that's fair.
That's true. Commander, we, as you know, into the temple, checked things out, got proper leads. Pretty sure there's ways to bring Nessus back. We did come here to get a boat, but it seems like the good Captain Nenya is willing to donate one.
Good to hear. We've been having... Look, you see the river down there? He jerks a thumb at the small stream, like this little tributary of the river that appears to be loosely dividing the camp down the middle.
Yeah.
Over there, you've got more or less the sides were divided into.
Oh,
As you can see,
seriously? People are using the river as a proper dividing line?
Look, Captain got here first, along with the councilwoman of this town. We're using, let's just shook out that way. God, I hate this. But it does make things straightforward, at least. We're gonna listen.
We know who's on our side.
Our job here. We need to, we need to take Commander Roshin. She's with the Goldwood Militia. We need to take her request and back it up as much as we can. All right, that's our goal.
What's the request?
Support, action, immediate action. We are short on time. She'll explain more fully when it happens, but we need to be presenting some kind of united front here. Otherwise, this is going to...
They're less likely to support a group that seems separated out.
Yes, exactly. Between us and her, we have most of the actual manpower in this uprising. What we don't have necessarily are the ships, the safe havens, most of all, what we don't have is the priesthood itself. The ability to get out there and rally people. I can get a room to cheer, but we need people to,
Work on a couple thousand more.
Yeah. We need
Yeah,
people
I
on
can
board
see
who
that's no
aren't
problem.
already diehard for the cause.
Oh
Let them
boy.
kicking and screaming into the fight, right?
Yep, hopefully without too much actual kicking and screaming. Here, at least, we should all be friends. Not so
I'm
sure
ready
about
to start
the
kicking and
Lekmaran.
screaming.
Keep an eye on the faceless one as well. That's
Is it-
a...
What? Face this one?
you haven't seen him yet. Lekmaran automaton. Some sort of agent they've sent to supposedly offer us help. Color me as suspicious of them as I am of the Imperial here, but...
Oh, sorry. Oh, wait, you trust them completely? Amazing. They must be a great fellow.
Yeah.
Maker's eye has fully rotated into the back of his head.
Oh no.
Stygia does give him a look, or give Maker a look about that, but otherwise,
I mean, seeing Nakamaran capabilities, and she's actually going to look at Maker. It'd be really handy allies, but what do they have to guard against at the same time, right?
Exactly. Well,
We have aligned.
Yes, aligned interests, but also other interests that might be against us. You can't tell me that the Nakamarans aren't innocent themselves.
That one a friend of yours, Maker?
Yes, his name is Folly.
Huh. Interesting name.
Doesn't give me much confidence.
Why?
If you're a maker and you make stuff, what's he a folly of?
Foolish actions? I don't know.
a lot of Lekmarans are named for some hero or major figure from the past. Folly is a trickster, an agent who sowed chaos. For a member of like an actual Quicksilver automaton, they might be someone that they genuinely look up to. After all, for a city like Lekmara with the world entire as its enemy, is a trickster who can go out there and turn an enemy's strength against itself. That's someone to aspire to. It's rather unusual for a Quicksilver automaton to actually be out and about without a disguise up. It's a sign of trust within Lekmara, generally. But it doesn't mean that they're not kind of unsettling to look at with their mirrored visage.
I think they look great.
Do they though? They distort. It's like it's a weird mirror. It's very hard to admire yourself in a rounded mirror.
You guys say I was admiring myself? Thank you very much. Word of God.
As you're chatting, though, Maeve just like puts a hand on the small of her back and is just, "Can we go to the meeting, please? I need a bench."
Right. We may as well get this over and done with, right?
Might
Yep.
as well. You likely filter around, down some steps.
Really wants to be different. It's going to go this way. No.
Yeah, both are actual ways to get down.
Burst through all the scenery.
Oh, the bridge is over there. Wait, where are we having this meeting?
The currently this outdoor area, it is a shallow stream. Like
Are we going to get each other across the stream?
it's a very closely packed area, but yeah, it is very quiet here. Pretty much anyone can talk and be heard. It is as private a location as a council chamber would be. More due to being remote than being surrounded by walls. The
I guess
important
this
thing
really
is
is a
that it's outdoors.
resistance. This really is a resistance. I didn't expect us to be discussing politics over a campfire.
I don't have a campfire. I got water. Even worse.
There are lamps.
There are a lot of lamps. It is a summer evening. As you arrive, you hear a click of like a photograph being taken. A little group.
Justicia has started to get used to that, and as soon as she hears a click, she strikes a more important pose.
All of the pictures of her are just going to be blurred.
Yeah. You're supposed to hold still when you hear the click.
Well,
It
for the
takes us-
second one.
Yeah. The second one that happens like 20 seconds later because you have to manually change the slate out and put a new one in. And but this little gathering here, the actual meeting, as people like filter in, does seem to be happening over here. They are not literally yelling at each other across the stream. It's just that's where the that's where the groups were like meeting up beforehand. Basically, there were.
It's a power play. They're figuratively making us come over to their side to begin with.
I think you're reading too much into it.
It's what do they call it? Psychic. No, psychology.
Psychic. It's a psychic attack. Look out! It's a psychic attack.
He continues to saunter and finds a nice place to lean against.
Kron
All
just
right.
sits over on the side over here.
Do you know who Crispin is?
Yes, that is a sort of mousy Imperial guy. He invented a camera, basically, and he's been
Ah,
following
right. Oh,
Destisha
you're right.
around.
That person. Right.
Yes. He's working PR for the Party Liberation Brigade, basically, making
You're right.
propaganda posters and whatever. Because Neil can't really, like, he's very good at a specific thing, which is you end up in like a room with him for like half an hour and you suddenly realize like you have joined his rebellion. Very good at
much
like
what happened.
very good at like pressing like one specific person into helping. At least Crispin has not been promoted to lieutenant.
You get a badge. You get a badge.
Yes. But you can see, and in addition to the PLB people that you arrived with, you can see Folly, who Maker has met, but for the rest of you, Black Cloak, sort of a simple, like a common everyday, like tunic and trousers and boots underneath it, very plain outfit, all kind of overridden in visual uniqueness by the fact that he has no face. It is just a mirrored bubble that only very vaguely reflects the surroundings. You can actually see glimpses of an environment that has nothing to do with the environment you're currently in. You see glimpses of orange stone and sand sometimes as images that were imprinted in the Quicksilver long ago float to the surface from time to time.
Oh. Well, that's neat.
You can see Commander Roshin, a female dryad with autumnal colors, just impatiently pacing back and forth, waiting for things to begin. You can see slightly, in a position of slightly raised ground, two individuals. You can see the Captain Enya, who Bayleaf met earlier, along with a elven woman who they're passing a pipe back and forth, looking at everyone else arrive. And you get the impression that despite the priestess being an elf and therefore not really having visual aging, these two seem like peers in a way that they are significantly to the senior of basically everyone else in this area. Lastly, you see a slightly uncomfortable looking woman in like just kind of plain clothes, sitting a little bit back further on that platform, who, from what you've been told, is a representative of the impromptu like council that is acting as the supposed civilian government of Sithiligan, although in practice the pirates are in charge here. Because, they have the boats and the soldiers, and Sithiligan has no actual militia of its own just yet. There's a lot of looks exchanged, one direction and another, as you arrive. But
Destisha waves.
just in general at everyone.
Yep, anyone who looks at her while she gets into her spot.
The Captain Enya returns the wave.
Oh, I like her already.
No one else quite does. But as
They're all on my hit list.
you are like, the rest of you are on my list. But
Wow, positive human interaction.
They're my best friend. Don't. We're in game time, brother. We're not allowed to switch voices.
But
I wasn't switching voices. It was just an example of how Desticia was feeling.
But as everyone arrives, Captain Enya taps out her pipe, sets it aside, kind of rolls her neck a bit. Well, damn, look at us, standing here on free Partuvian soil. Little patch of it in the middle of the ocean, sure, but wasn't sure I'd live to see the day. Thought, Imogen here might have to give the service on behalf of all us old-timers. We could hold this place for a generation, probably. A solid generation, at least. Our lost mother as a witness. We could probably hold it damn near forever if we're careful. At that, there is a chime-in from the automaton who raises a hand. Particularly with Lakmar and Bakken. I've been discussing the matter with the town's council. My home city has every interest in harrying and diverting imperial attention to the utmost, and would be willing to supply many of the technologies we use to protect our own home, along with teams to maintain them.
It's a nice thought, but if this becomes the sole holdout place, then it won't last for long when it becomes the center of imperial focus.
Neo
Yeah.
nods. Yeah, and forgive me, it's real convenient for Lakmar if our little rebellion is safe. Of course, if we actually won, then suddenly that's one less province draining Eridon's soldiers off the mainland. I don't appreciate the implication, friend. Just the pirate captain waves. Still speaking, everyone. I will cede the floor in just a moment. As far as my people are concerned, the Pale Sea Corsairs have got what we want out of this rebellion. A safe harbor with a friendly garrison. We could stage raids on Imperial supplies for 100 seasons from here. Bleed 'em dry, stockpile materials, smuggle sympathizers off Partu proper, and train up a real army. It's the best living a pirate's gonna get in the foreseeable future. We know our debts. We wouldn't have taken this place without the effort put in by you mainland groups, so we ain't gonna leave you high and dry. But I ain't throwing my people's lives away for nothing. I've got limits. So long as we're all clear on that, yes, you may speak, Lieutenant Driver.
Oh. Well, once again, I've no doubt that you could defend this place well. But supporting the rebellion on the mainland is far more a guarantee for your future security than just standing here on your own. If by some chance we fail, then suddenly you become the sole holdout, and as many ships as you can muster to defend your port and whatever technology the Lakmarans could offer, even ignoring the costs associated with it. Imperials will surround you and will wear you down. They have far more resources, they have far more capability, they will develop things to finish this island. The only
Oh, we
guarantee
already
you
have those.
Yeah, exactly. The only
Right.
guarantee of safety and self-independence, if that's what you desire, is to have a powerful body near you to help defend when needed. And that is the Partuvian mainland. That's all I've got to say on the matter of right now.
The Dryad speaks up as you back off. I'll be forthright. We have armaments, both from our own efforts and the generosity of Mr. Sergetti's patron. I understand you all have suspicions, and I share them, but if Eridon wanted to undermine our movement, giving us wagon loads of firearms and quality weaponry is a damn strange way of doing so. Their support has allowed us to move from small raids with teams of hunters to something resembling an organized uprising. We have support, we have momentum, and we've all but reclaimed 2 garrisons. Andath and Luarin are functionally under the control of the Goldwood militias. It's less secure than Sitharagon, but we have the towns. My second-in-command is focusing our efforts on refortifying, mustering recruitment from the townsfolk, preparing to harry any retaliation from Tuling Murin, and if our engineers are able to figure out how to secure them properly, we will have communication with Sitharagon via Sending Tower very soon. What we don't have is time. I am coming here in desperation to ask, to beg if I have to, that those who share a vision of a liberated Partu do not waste this opportunity we've bought with blood and smoke. A full legion has already landed in Tuling, reinforcements from the mainland, and I don't know how far behind them further troops might be.
Justicia nods, thinking about her words.
There's another interjection here from Folly, who adds in about 2 months, we expect. Maybe 3 by your calendar. Sometime past the end of the Vespa taxation period by theirs. Eridon is mustering soldiers, but these early reinforcements are, to the best of Lakmara's knowledge, a personal pull by Senator Minerva. They're associated with some sorcery academy or another, the individual levy of a patrician family. We're shy on details beyond that, but they don't represent the vanguard of a continuous incursion. Just one wave.
See?
As far as my own group's goals and desires, we were planning on going basically the exact opposite direction, matters down south, but I can't ignore a call for help. If you'd have us, and if my compatriots agree, I'd offer aid. We could sail north, head straight for Turling.
Hershin nods. If we assume the worst, a narrow 2 months, to outmaneuver these forces, then Imperial dreadnoughts are heavy ships. They can dock properly only at a handful of locations. Without Turing or Castrum Simotis, and without Sitharagon, Eridani's ships would be essentially barred from northern Partu, forced to disgorge their forces on the southern half of the continent, or engage in extremely vulnerable docking somewhere along the coastline. Long, tenuous supply lines, easy to attack. It would be the closest we've come to actually driving them out, in a meaningful way, in a long-term way.
That makes sense to me. If you're...
He crosses 2 of her arms and leans back on 2 other ones.
I don't think I need to remind anyone that Eridon is ruled by an immortal senate. They have plenty of time. If we just let them walk onto the shores, then they're gonna take the shores. It doesn't matter if you're in Sithalagan or not. They're just going to wait you out and or blow you up. That's what I'd do.
Need to show them that Partu's not worth the effort. I think securing our capitals, making sure their landings is difficult, is a good way to do it.
This time, a voice from the priestess, the Imogen, who at last exhales and just looks over you. And then what? I'm sorry to speak out of turn. I'm a priestess, not a military commander, but this sounds as if you're essentially signing your own death warrant. Let us entertain the notion that this all goes perfectly. You seize control of Turling. The Castrum's defenses are turned on the Hammer, and Eredin's legions are diverted south. Then what? What if we bought with the mountain of corpses you would have us spend? What would we gain but a sea of broken bodies and shattered families? A land war waged against us from the south? We wouldn't last to see the end of our next winter.
Maybe she's going to look to the rest of her party and just go, just show them the box.
Justicia ponders it a bit.
I think the risk of information getting out is worth it.
Maker doesn't say anything, but he looks at Folly and just makes a weird gesture.
Does the weird gesture mean anything in particular, or is it just a weird gesture?
It's supposed to mean something.
Okay.
Why are you flapping your arms?
Why are you pirouetting on the ground like that? I don't understand. Are you trying to say something?
Maker lights one of Krone's hair foods on fire with a stare.
Excuse
Violence already. But
The Lachmarans are acting strangely as they are wont to do.
Yeah, weirdos.
In a forthright statement, I am loath to show this in front of such a open audience, but I believe this is important. My group journeyed to the tomb of Nessus, as it's been termed as of late. Not a term I like. And we found Revelation there. And she's going to get the box out, and she's going to let it play its little message.
everyone gives rapt attention to this, just absolutely focused. You see complex emotions running across different people. I'll say each of you can make a perception check to see how one person is reacting, if you want to pick someone out.
Okay.
I see.
I don't think it's the most important person, but I think Bayleaf is paying attention to the High Priestess, so I'm going to go with that one.
Esticia's probably looking at Folly.
All right.
Not that her perception's any good.
Crom, I think, is going to watch the captain.
Okay.
Maker is going to check Mr. Segretti.
All right. So you
Perception.
said Bayleaf was looking at
Priestess.
the priestess.
Imogen. Yeah.
Right.
Game of stairs.
And Maker was looking at, I did not catch who you said.
Mr. Segretti.
Mr.
So,
Spaghetti.
Starting at the
Mr. Spaghetti.
I look at Crispin. What is he doing over there?
he is not taking photographs and seems like he's not sure if he should be listening to this, but he is.
Oh no, I'm within earshot. Help.
Like, it would look very suspicious if he just ran. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Start humming loudly.
But
Duck behind cover.
so Bayleaf, you can see that Imogen is. She shifts from like disbelief to shock, and kind of stays on shock. Like, seems to be having a lot of difficulty processing this as being real. Like, there's a lot of skepticism in like the way she's like looking at herself. Like, you can't. There's no like moment of like, oh my god, a revelation from the divine. It's like it's more. She seems like she's like, I don't know if I can let myself trust this. Enya seems to be just kind of intrigued, interested. Does not seem to have the most stake in this, but is fascinated by it.
Raises an eyebrow and takes a puff out of her pipe. Oh,
Yeah, very much like, oh, interesting. This changes things. Like, Neil and Maeve both look like there has been, like, a huge bombshell dropped on them. Like, they're in a similar sense of, like, shock. Not just, like, not the same kind of like religious like incredulity as Imogen, so much as like being informed, hey, there's like a nuke buried over here. There's like a super weapon. This is something incredible that could turn the tide. And Folly, Destisha cannot read at all. Just can't. You have no idea.
Wait a
There's
minute.
there's some tension there, but
You're like, oh, they look focused. Wait, that's me in the reflection.
yeah, they're very still, very very kind of like stiff, rigid. Like
Okay.
you get the impression they're thinking intensely.
No, I'm going to keep the coordinates close at hand. Need to know. I think you understand the importance of this. Be it for the potential of leaks or those with ulterior motives.
Of course, keep it secure. You say you found this. At the goddess's own tomb.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, the family Philantelus has left us a tool. We got this right under the corpse of your stabbed god, and we might have information or a gift left over from her hidden at these coordinates. We don't know. I can't say for sure that this will turn the tide of the war, but it is something of your goddess left behind.
And you cannot tell me, no matter what your degree of faith, whether it's the most faithful or don't give a damn, an Imperial taking up the name of Philanthropist just randomly finds itself taking part at the dawn of Partu retaking itself in a group that journeys finds this. That does not lack meaning. That's too much happenstance. That is too much chance to not mean something. Our god is going to return, and they are going to return to a free Partu. Do you want to be a part of that?
Means I'm super good at my job.
Make a diplomacy check, Bailey.
Okie dokie. Does the box give a circumstance bonus of any sort?
I generally handle it by reducing DC.
Okay. Oh, jeez.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the recharge rate of our thingies?
We
you
have
get
2
two.
per
You
session.
have 2 per session, and you get 1 back when a fight
Yeah,
starts.
no, what? I'm going to expend the second one. There you go, have a 32.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's a critical success. There's just a long quiet.
Huh.
What does that sound?
He's just putting the box away.
But of all the people to break it, it is actually the
Mr. Serengeti.
Mr. Segretti. It's not a complicated name.
It's the
this-
least complicated
It's
name
the
here
least
because
complicated name here.
Look, the
Fine.
letters actually make the sound that it looks like.
But it sounds
Yes.
like so many other words.
Sorry, Spaghetti. You got a regretty.
Segretti, regretti.
I hope we don't have any Italian viewers.
I know we have at least one person that talks a lot of Welsh.
I'd like to apologize on behalf of my companions here.
Okay. But, Mr. Segretti, he raises his voice in a sort of polite, deferential tone. The young lady driver is a remarkable woman. I've seen my own patron's spirit lit by her through a simple act of defiance, in a way I had not thought possible. A lifetime of resignation and Wani burned away by a single chance encounter. Many will fight when they have no choice, but given every opportunity not to, she has chosen to defy the mightiest powers in this world for the sake of fairness, simple beliefs. I am not certain how to qualify whatever spark she may possess. I confess I have not ruled out sheer luck or the wanton vigor of youth, but having seen its results, I cannot deny that it exists. There is something to that. Do not discount it. He nods and steps back. Imogen raises her voice next, leaning forward on the railing and sighing. Let us say this is true. Let us say that all of this is fate, a confluence of moments that are leading Nessus home to all of us. In these years with our goddess silent, I have simply been trying to protect her children as best I can. And even if all of this goes well, the losses will be beyond count. There is no way that this war ends with anything other than a shattered Partu. I cannot even think of how many will be dead.
Can you think of how many would give their lives willingly?
Perhaps I should. So be it. If we are discussing the matter, then Commander Roshin, you have my support. We will do what we can to... Our magical abilities are a pale shadow of what they once were. We have a handful of druids, and a few of us have managed to hear the magic in song, but for the most part, our priestesses are just medics, doctors, and community leaders. But we can gather support, if nothing else. We can move through and act as a trusted mouthpiece for this group. And if this is to be... If we are to triumph, we will need everyone. We will need a united Partu. We will put all our efforts towards that. You have what we can offer. She nods and steps back. More quiet, and Ethne eventually shrugs and... Enya, rather. Catching myself pronouncing words wrong. I have a pronunciation guide.
You always gotta have the phonetics written down.
Yep, I've got the pronunciation guide. But
How do you spell?
sometimes...
Or how do you say server regret ready?
You made the mistake of actually looking at the.
I made the mistake of looking at the way it's written. Too many names in one scene. All right, then. All right. If this is the path we're going, and I suspected it might be after a meeting earlier today, the Pale Sea Corsairs will offer our ships transport and support from the sea where we can. We're not going to be raiding any dreadnoughts single-handedly, but we will provide transport. If we can take control of the ports, then... Well, we're used to loading and unloading even without ports. And it's not as if we're burdened by heavy machinery in the way that Erodan is. We've no bulky thralls or siege weapons to account for, though we may need them. But, if we are assuming this is the plan of action, then how do we follow? She pauses and thinks. Turling Marin is a massive city. Castrum Samotis guards it from the harbour, and it is well fortified from without. We would presumably be attacking from within, but even then, we will need to be taking measures. There are 2 full legions here, one in the Castrum, and then this newly arrived legion in the city itself. In open battle, much as I laud the bravery and combat ability of our noble rebels, we are not fit to fight a street war against the Empire in a location where it has had years to entrench. How are we supposed to win this fight and not just die heroically?
Uprising.
Well, I was thinking something. Castrum Samotis.
Speak a little louder, girl.
Castrum Samotis. Well, the way talismans work is that, control talisman, or the thralls. Each one of them has I would say...
You're breaking up a little
Yeah.
bit, Cross.
Yeah, you're
Beep,
breaking
beep,
up.
beep.
Cross.
How about now?
I heard that.
How about now? How about now? How about now?
I can hear
Yeah,
you.
that seems to be better.
Sounds
Uh,
clear, yes.
I wonder
I
if people
think-
haven't been hearing me.
No,
Oops.
I've been hearing you when you spoke. It's just that particular time, the pitch felt like it was kind of getting drowned out.
I think my
Yeah.
mic was spun around from one of the times I moved it.
Oh dear.
Oops.
All right. So, Castrum Samotis. The way control talismans work is they have an arcane code in them. The higher up on the totem pole you are, the more advanced the code is. That's how they can pass these out like candy to the lower troops and not fear them being taken away by by enemies. The commanding officers always have priority control over the thrall. These thralls, pretty much all the thralls on the northern part of the continent, would probably be controlled by the Castrum. So if we could find a way to get into the Castrum and find the control talisman, one of the major control talismans, then the entirety of Tling, all of its forces of thralls would be on our side, at least until another legion comes.
We could do a multi-pronged approach involving that. I mean,
You're saying an uprising in the city would draw attention, and then a small group into the Castrum proper.
not only
Yeah.
that, but Captain, and yeah, I'm sure that your crews are very, very experienced and capable of keeping out of range of Imperial guns.
Oh yes.
Array them
Nice.
from the sea. Draw whatever they have out. Some of the forces might chase on boats, or
Fascinating.
at least get them distracted. Keep yourself safe, but keep their interest.
Of course, not a bad plan.
First,
One thing-
there will be an uprising of the people, and an uprising of the thralls.
And then we approach, frankly, criminal elements in Turling. We approach the devout. The priesthood still has hold there. There's many groups that would fight, be it for coin or faith.
Of course. And then, striking them from within the city, from without the walls on the ocean, they'd be in disarray. Not to mention the fact that these are 2 disparate legions. They have no experience working with one another, and communication between them is likely poor. Imperial commanders are notorious for their rivalries and
Boy,
lack of
are they.
communication.
They're not going to know what to do, being attacked at 2 places at once.
Exactly. Fascinating. And then, of course, should they even try to support one another or communicate, I expect that Roshin's Rangers, the Goldwood militias, are still able to muster and strike at any forces that maneuver outside the walls. And should the
Yeah.
walls fall, then we would have experienced hunters able to operate in the streets.
Exactly. You attack any groups moving between the two. You keep them separated. Isolate them.
A good all Eridani backstabbing. I like this plan.
Of course, there is one thing that we have yet to account for properly. The fact that we don't have a goddess with us at the moment doesn't mean that the same is true of them. There are clerics and mages aplenty in the Imperial ranks. That's a lot of magic, and we've got precious little of our own to counter it.
I'm maybe one of the greatest sorceresses of the entire Eridani continent,
Self-proclaimed.
but don't think I can take on that many at once.
I'm surprised if you could take on 2 at once.
What about our so-called Lakmaran allies? What aid would you be willing to lend to the endeavor?
We have tools to disrupt swords quite efficiently. Could you supply those, Folly?
Folly
have
has his arms like tightly folded and is just kind of like glancing around. He hasn't said anything yet, and said, "Apologies. I'm sorry. This effort does seem like a worthy endeavor, but this is critical information. I am going to need to consult with my superiors in order to have a full measure of what manner of aid we can offer given these circumstances. I will say, yeah, I fully expect we would be able to offer some measure of support. Anti-magic. There's a particular technology that is in its prototyping stages, a stabilization field of sorts, something to bolster the ecodic laws of this world against interference. It is weak at the moment, but it's something.
It's this here grimaces.
A useful tool. We may see about deploying this to local shores. I am sorry. I wish I could be of more precise help, but again, tonight's revelations have shaken all of us, I think. And
Well, I suppose this brings up another thing. How much do we want Lakmaran aid?
You will die without it.
I ain't so sure about it. I ain't so sure
You
we're not
will.
forming some rope to hang ourselves.
Let's not break up a beneficial relationship just yet.
Folly nods to Crom. Please do not take my hesitation as a measure of desire to end our relationship. It is still to the benefit of both parties, I should imagine. We share common cause against Eridan.
Please forgive. It's not your hesitation that bothers me. It is the mention of anti-acatic weapons. I
yes.
need not stress how bothersome that idea is to a country trying to bring back a god that I'm sure you would admit your people do not see kindly.
A fair assessment. True. I won't lie. This will shake many in Lakmara, but still, it is... Much as I think that this is an overextension on your part, one that will cost you, this battle does have the potential to inflict grave injuries on Eridan's ability to operate beyond their heartlands. Despite the insinuations of your friend over there, simply having them lose large numbers of troops and thralls and ships. All these things are very, very much in our interest, even if we have certain disagreements about your deity. Can we agree to coexist in this struggle for the time at the very least?
I think that's worthwhile. Would you mind taking another thing back to those that you must discuss matters with?
Of course.
Would they be willing to put forward a representative, one that is actually able to make decisions on upper levels, and potential formation of a treaty between the forming Partu government and Lakmar itself?
I will discuss this.
Thank you.
It's rare for the leadership of Lakmar to leave the city, but this is an unusual circumstance, and so...
It's certainly rare, but for Lakmar to be offering aid so willingly and openly.
Exactly. We have... It's fast to say that within the city there is a push towards a more open engagement with the rest of the world. We have been on defense for too long, one could say. We'll never change this world by simply standing by and doing nothing, as you've deftly illustrated with your own fine speeches.
Yeah, because I reckon even if we got differing goals and values, if we're open about them and they're not too conflicting, we can coexist. Keep them in the shadows. No, it's just going to breed distrust, so... And if they gotta stay in the shadows, that automatically tells you how bad they are, huh?
Certainly. The pirate captain nods and picks up her pipe once again, relights it, takes a draw. All right, then. How are we doing this? Who is in charge? We've got a whole lot of little groups running around, and no one's leading all of them. But a crew needs a captain, and a fleet needs an admiral. If we're going to fight as one force, a Partuvian force, not a liberation brigade and a militia stapled to a band of corsairs and a handful of priests. If we are to fight as the army of Partu, we need someone to lead that army. No one speak up all at once.
I'm kind of glad to see no one speaking up. Someone seeking out the leadership probably wouldn't be the best suited for it. But, I mean, I followed this far. I'm willing to put my fold in his hat, but I don't mind as long as you got the right intentions.
Neil looks at you, taps his chin. I appreciate the support, Lieutenant Bayleaf, but I'll be frank, I could not have done what you did here tonight. You...
If no one else is stepping up...
No.
We are not.
That's
Lady
Imperial
Volantis,
rule
you
again,
have better
Lady Volantis.
Lady Volantis, you have plenty to do on your own. We wouldn't want to get in charge of your most august and holy quest. There's some...
No one lets me do anything.
She just rubs on the rock behind her.
What's even the point of being the Messiah if you can't also be in charge of the army?
Yeah.
The suffering of a living saint.
Truly
How about
noted.
Admiral, then? That one was a joke. I don't know how to drive a ship.
The,
If I may,
You mayn't.
I must admit, I would like to recommend Commander Niao as well, if only for what's the word?
We'll find out sometime.
Appearance's sake, it is evident that for the upcoming operation, at least, we will need Commander Roshin's expertise in regional matters. And if I must, I am loath to admit, but in terms of pure appearances, potency, High Priestess Imogen would be the ideal option for a leadership figure.
Imogen steps forward and sighs. Taken into account, yes. However, I do not wish to be the leader of an army. And I would be terrible at it. If we're speaking entirely for appearances, then I will agree with Commander Neal and make this formal nomination. If the purpose we're asking for here is someone to get everyone to play nicely and align the interests of the various commanders, I nominate Bayleaf Driver. Without her speaking up, we would still be arguing.
She narrows her eye. Destiny narrows her eyes at Bayleaf.
Bayleaf has gotten wide-eyed in alarm.
Enya taps out her pipe. All right then, let's see if we can make this official. Votes from all the leaders here. Those in favor? I just want an aye. Let's not get too complicated. She looks to Imogen, who raises her hand with aye. Commander Neal. Aye.
Oh no.
Commander Roshin. Interesting. I know not much of you, but you've acquitted yourself well tonight. Aye. You have my support.
Bayleaf is going pale.
With every eye, more and more color.
Maeve looks to Destitia, who seems to be being treated as someone of importance here.
And she just keeps crossing her arms.
I don't know.
Saint says no.
I abstain.
Well, one who's traveled with her likely is not the...
Yeah, my opinion is biased.
But not to Bayleaf.
Someone who actually hasn't spoken up this meeting at all steps forward of the councilwoman who represents the civilian population of the city. Just for what it's worth, I'm glad to see a proper daughter of Partu take this position. Someone who represents the future. You have my support, and a fine tongue to go with it. You've spoken well tonight. Keep this up, and keep all this together, please. She nods and steps back.
Destiny kicks her feet in the dirt, and there's a tink as it hits a rock.
Oh, shit. With great reluctance, I will accept this responsibility. And I will do my very best to serve you all.
You're really moving up in the world, aren't you, little thief?
You're our commander-in-chief.
First matters. I would very much appreciate everybody's advice in any coming meetings we have. I would also like for you to nominate, and I think there are some good candidates here already, someone to represent the faith, somebody to represent the people, and somebody to take care of actual military matters. In fact,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Chat has declared that Bayleaf is now the commander and thief.
Yeah.
It's commandeer in thief.
No, that's too far. That's too far. You took it too far.
I said commander in chief before. Everyone, chat took my joke.
Oh no.
And made it better.
But
In fact, I can see a way to formalize this immediately. Captain Enya,
I
whatever forces we muster under our control, you'll be in charge of all naval.
understood. I could do worse for myself.
Priestess Imogen,
Yes,
I entrust you to carry the faith and make sure that those that still follow our goddess are working with us.
of course.
Councilwoman,
Mm-hmm.
I hope you have experience with civilian matters.
Yes, however, before you impart a... Civilagon itself is only just getting on its feet as a city. Please allow me to continue to carry out my work here, within this city. There is so much to do, and we have only just assembled our own council.
Of course, when it's appropriate, though, you may have higher duties.
Of course, I will keep that in mind. General? She says the word questioningly.
I don't know what titles we're using yet. Maybe not important right now.
Grand Kuba.
But, Neo,
Yeah?
you keep doing what you're doing. Organize resistance operations. You're good at it. You're leading... we're going to start connecting whatever resistance operations going on. You're going to be heading them up.
Of course.
And,
Slightly worried you were going to ask me to do anything else.
Commander Rasheen, a more formalized military. You've really got a good hand in that with your militia.
Of course. I will get more detailed reports to you soon enough, but you have my advice whenever you need it.
And I can't forget Mr. Segretti.
Of course. If
you and your lady, I'd like you to be the Imperial hand in this, the central focus for it. Find allies.
I will arrange a meeting as soon as you're able to arrive in Turling.
Appreciate it. Shit. Okay.
Everyone looking at Bayleaf.
Right. Now I've delegated a whole bunch of responsibilities. Let's see about getting this on the road, huh?
Yeah, make sure you don't have any of your own.
Yeah. Only
Rob,
big decisions, right?
Crom just pats her on the back.
Okay, I suppose right now we are agreed that the taking of Turling and the Castrum are the most important matters for us.
Of course. Of course.
Then, if everybody could submit logistical resources, we can start figuring out our actual plan. Why don't we call it for tonight?
A wise plan. It's late. The moon has given her blessing to this meeting.
Yes, a wise plan, O leader.
And, take a couple of days to muster up whatever you need, and we'll meet back here.
Of course. I will send word to my ships in the surrounding ports, and we'll gather a proper fleet.
Buddy, how long do you need to make your contact with your superiors?
I'll have it by tomorrow evening. We have our own methods of communicating over great distances.
Okay. All right, we'll meet back here 2 days hence, but if you need me before then, you'll find me within town.
There's a murmur of assent from basically everyone as things start to things start to, like, you get the sense that the meeting is, like, dispersed, even though people aren't quite walking away yet.
It's formally over. People
It's
are still mingling a
formally
little
over.
bit.
There's some quiet discussion among the different people, but your small group does have the opportunity, as people
Right.
start to filter away.
Bailiff is going to take off her little lieutenant emblem. She's going to hold it out to Crom. Be my second.
I suppose. I don't know much about leading forces, but
It's not like there was a volunteer standing right here.
You are a living saint. I think that outranks us all in a way.
Destisha,
Good.
you really must not linger on this petty grievance for too long.
Oh, you haven't seen the beginnings of my pettiness.
I am sure.
Mika. I apologize. Not knowing what the Lekmarans want worries me, but
I
I can also see it's clouding things.
I must admit, a part of me was hoping you would not use this card so early, and so I elected not to inform my companions this early about our little bonus task.
I appreciate your discretion.
But I will try my best to weave a story.
Oh.
you mean make a story. Your
We
name's
all
not
laugh
Weaver.
and do a 80s end of movie pose together.
Maker stares at Chrome, and the air before his face is starting to sizzle in that way that says, "I'm about to set you on fire again."
All right, I get it.
Will the rebellion survive this? This infighting?
This is becoming a really bad habit of yours, Maker. You should not set me on fire.
This is a poison pot. Whoever survives is the strongest.
Crom, where'd you get the big fuck off sword?
What do you think? I made it.
Hi.
Oh, it's you. Okay.
I'm cool, aren't I? This is so cool. Congratulations, by the way.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
how did this happen?
She comes over to the sword.
No, Crom,
Crom,
please.
pass me the spear. Pass me it. Come on, pass me.
Crom just puts his hand on her head and just pushes her back.
Ah.
You are... Nope. No touching Fang.
Thank
you
you.
are-
No
You are-
one lets me do anything.
You are hereby banned from touching Fang.
Thank you.
Another restraining order.
It's a sword sound. We crush the station.
I'm sorry, what?
Is it a sword
It's a
that Justicia can lift? It's so big.
Oh,
I need food.
Have you seen her stats?
I am well aware of my stats.
But
Don't know
with
about you
that-
guys. I need to eat and go scream into a pillow.
with
Yeah.
that, I think that is a good place to wrap.
No, can we go eat? Can we at least get to a tavern to eat?
Okay.
I have potato chips.
That's all I need to know.
You can, in fact. You have your choice of basically anywhere in town to eat. There are many places with fine food, seafood.
I want to eat at the
fruit.
Printworks.
You know what? You drop by there where they are printing posters and trying to cobble together some flags, and they will be ecstatic to meet you. Somehow, Bayleaf will find that no matter how fast she goes somewhere, everyone there seems to already know that she's in charge. And if you go anywhere with Justicia, then it's like, oh, the the commander-in-chief and the living saint are going out to eat. You do not have to pay for your food, to say the least.
Oh, and the robot and the dog are here.
Yes, the robot is here, and the dog, again, no one's quite sure what to make of Crom, but he's hanging out with these other people, and so, like, the assumption is that this tall, majestic, very handsome dog is, like, he's cool. They don't know what
Lieutenant
his deal
Crom,
is.
sword dog.
Yes. He's the Empyrean's shadow. He could probably do a flip if he wanted, right?
I think so.
Oh, I know what video you're talking about.
I'm just talking about Blythe.
Yes, I know.
But yes, he is terribly, terribly majestic. And this would be the part where I drop an updated document link in chat, because Bayleaf is the first member of the party to get her actual mythic path.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
Commander in Chief? You knew this from
Commander
the
in Thief.
Supreme Lead Gear?
Look, I will take input on the name. However,
Is she
if the
the
input
one?
Can I
is
be
stupid,
the
I will
Senate?
disregard it. No, you are not the Senate. I'm sorry. However, because this was a holiday weekend, I did not have time to actually make that Google Doc. So I will be giving
Oh no.
I'll be giving that to you. I'll be giving that to you before next session, and I will link it with chat at the start of next session.
It's okay. We haven't formalized my title yet, so it's totally not official.
But yes. Thank you. If that is where we are leaving off, this has been a good session. I hope I did a passable job. But for now, thank you.
Don't you just slip the self-doubt in. Do the confidence.
Thank
You
you.
need to be confident. You're selling your stuff.
Thank you to everyone for playing. Thanks to everyone in the audience for watching. If you've enjoyed this game and are interested in participating, you can hire me. I run tabletop games professionally in a wide variety of systems and genres. You can check out the About tab on my channel for a rundown on how you can get in touch with me. I'd love to work with you to set up exactly the kind of game you and your group are looking for. Until next time, be kind where you can, brave where appropriate, and always try to act in solidarity with those less fortunate than yourselves.